Are you ready to dance with somebody?
I'm JT from 96.3 Capital FM. The show is called The Greatest Love of All, the Whitney Houston Tribute Show, and it's a tribute to one of the greatest female vocalists of all time, the great Whitney Houston. And joining me right now is the star of the show, Belinda Davids. Belinda, welcome.
Hi, JT. Thank you very much.
And before we begin here, I just want to ask you, are you sure it is in fact Belinda on your birth certificate and not Whitney?
No. That's so sweet. No, it is Belinda. It's not Whitney.
So where are you right now then?
I'm in my home in Cape Town, South Africa.
Beautiful South Africa. So maybe you could just start by telling me, how does one get to fill the big shoes of arguably one of the most beautifully gifted singers of our generation? Because, you know, it's one thing to look like Whitney Houston, but it's another to sound like Whitney, especially with her vocal range.
I know. I'll tell you one thing. It's challenging, but it is a great honor to do this. But I'm very excited. I mean, I've idolized Whitney since I was 9 years old. I only pretty much listened to her and I copied her and tried to capture everything in her voice, and not just her voice, but everything else. So I feel like I have been practicing for this forever.
Well, clearly the practice has paid off, but, I mean, what was the biggest challenge for you, Belinda? Because, I mean, this was a woman, an artist who had just so much poise and so much presence.
That was the biggest challenge, because I'm the type of person that, you know, I move around a lot on stage. And Whitney when she was younger, she had this presence that she could stand still and sing and not move and just be amazing and just be great.
I happen to know that there was something like 15,000 women that auditioned for this role in some like 12 different countries. But in the end, they actually approached you to be the one for many reasons. Do you remember the moment that you found out the news? I do, like it was yesterday. The director asked me to come and work with them for a little bit. And so he called me out of Australia and he said, listen, I'll be in the next day. Can we have breakfast? So I went downstairs in the hotel. I went downstairs to breakfast. And he just spread everything out, the Whitney books, the biographies and pictures and tributes, and I pretty much crawled out of myself. I couldn't believe it. I said, oh, yes, this is it. This is it. I've got it. I have to have it. So I bet at that very moment you felt so emotional that you just wanted to dance with somebody.
Yes. Yes, it was definitely that kind of excitement.
I just hope he paid the bill for breakfast.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Is it true that you pursued a career in the United States only to be told that you looked and sounded too much like Whitney Houston?
Yeah, I tried to, have my own career. I worked really hard not to sound much like her so I can get specific shows or gigs or anything. And people would say, oh, my goodness, she sounds too much like Whitney. And that was a problem when Whitney was alive because there was only one Whitney Houston. There couldn't be another one.
You know, so in a way, I mean, this was almost a calling to be, the one to share your gift with the world, especially at a time, when the world was in mourning and disbelief.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was a moment that I don't think any one of us will forget. I mean, the night before the Grammys that the world would first hear of the news of the passing of Whitney. What was your first reaction? I'm curious.
I was in disbelief. I was in utter disbelief. Because, for me, Whitney was one of those people who was just invincible. There's no way Whitney would die. That was how much I idolized her. She would always be. When it was confirmed that she had passed away, I broke down. I absolutely broke down.
On a more positive note, I want you to be honest right now, Belinda. How many times have you seen The Bodyguard?
Way too many times. Oh, goodness, way too many times.
And just to clarify, you don't have a boyfriend by the name of Kevin Costner by any chance, do you?
No.
All right.
And I don't have a husband called Bobby Brown either.
I was actually reading an article, and I think it was in Hong Kong, while performing I Will Always Love You at a hotel. that an audience member actually asked you to sing a cappella as they thought you were actually lip syncing to the original Whitney Houston song. Tell me about that.
I was performing in the Harborview Hotel, and I started singing the song, and these two men just walked up, and they were looking at me, trying to figure out if I was singing or if I was lip-singing. So when I finished the song, they came up to me and they said, "You were lip-singing. We don't believe that that was you." And I thought, okay. So I sang the song again, and I sang it without music, and I sang it a cappella. And
You got a standing ovation.
yeah.
So you sure put them to rest.
Yes, I think I did.
Tell us about the show, which has been getting amazing reviews. It's about 2.5 hours long, and it's just jam-packed with everything Whitney, dancers, even the dresses.
Yeah, we have everything with you. We have amazing costume changes. We try to really capture her fashion. We've got the dancers, we've got an amazing band, and we have video, and which I perform with, and I can't tell you what song because then I'm going to spoil the whole concert for you. But it's an amazing show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want people to have a lot of fun. I want people to come in, and I want them to dance, and I want them to sing along, and I want them to walk away crying, remembering Whitney for when she was amazing and at the top of her game.
I will have a box of Kleenex on standby.
Good. Get a Kleenex for everyone.
But I'm also ready to dance as well. Belinda, you know, if I had more time, I was kind of hoping we could sing a duet together, and I was thinking maybe I could be...
Aw, sweet.
Thinking that maybe I could be Teddy Pendergrass, and we could have done Hold Me.
Oh.
Second thought, I don't think you want to hear that. But Belinda, since we are out of time, could you just make my day right now and say, JT, I will always love you?
JT, I will always love you.
Oh, you see, now I'm going to be a fan of yours for life.
That's so sweet.
The show is called The Greatest Love of All, the Whitney Houston Tribute Show. One night at the Northern Jubilee Auditorium, May 14th. And, of course, tickets now available at Ticketmaster. And, Belinda, I just got to say, it's been such a treat to talk to you. And I know there are many people that just can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. Thank you, JT.
And